So Sarah said that you have a game for us that is a chill game.
I have a game that's a chill game because we've been doing a lot of lately. We've been doing a lot of not chill games. It's not that it's bad.
Intense.
Intense. That's the word. Is intense. And
Yep.
and
Not
right
bad.
now,
Very intensive.
yeah, there's a lot of intense. There's a lot of gritty. There's a lot of dark. And we really like gritty and intense and dark games. And normally the world is not so gritty and intense and dark. And right now, boy, there sure is a lot of gritty and intense and dark going on. So I was thinking, how about we play something that's cute and wholesome and fun?
Cute is a modifier.
Cute is a modifier. It's an actual modifier in the game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Excellent.
can't go wrong. Okay. So what I was thinking is that we can play this game that I just recently picked up called Ryuutama, and it's about these people who go on journeys. And actually, let me I'll just bring up the actual book itself, and I'll read just a little section real quick. Let's see. Okay, in the game, the players assume the role of quote the travelers, those who have embarked on a journey through unknown lands. In this world, there exists an ancient custom. All men and women are expected to leave their hometown for an extended journey at least once in their lifetime. These people are called travelers. Players will choose a class for their traveler among 7 available choices: a hunter, a
Pokemon
merchant,
trainer.
exactly, a Pokemon trainer, among others. Um, uh, though armed with swords and a little magic, the world can be a perilous place. Large expanses of uninhabited and unmapped land crawl with monsters and hidden dangers. Terrain and inclement weather conspire to make the traveler's journey difficult. Will you make it to your destination safely? Do you have enough food and water? Are you completely sure that you remember to equip your sturdy boots and rain cape? Proper preparation is essential to survival in the wilds. But one must not forget to take in the sights and sounds of the fantastic places you visit, nor should you ignore the beauty of the mercurial seasons. The seasoned traveler knows to appreciate even the mundane scents and textures along a journey. So yeah, this is Ryutama, and it's not about fighting, and there's experience in the game, but most experience that you get in the game comes through traveling and exploring and going on journeys that are difficult. And you get some experience for fighting things, but it's not like D&D where you get experience for everything you kill. You get a little bit of experience for the toughest thing you defeat, but only one time, and it's like a fraction of what you get for like slogging through mud to get to the next town. So yeah, so it definitely rewards traveling. And the main component of the game, if you guys printed out the journey rules,
Rules? No.
We didn't print out any of the rules.
no worries at all. But basically, when you're playing the game, it's this series of a couple recurring rolls where you wake up in the morning and you check your condition and you roll your stats. And then you make a travel roll to see, hey, did you get to the next place? Or how did you do on your journey for that day? And you make a direction check to see, hey, did you go in the right way to get to the next place you're trying to get to? And then finally you make a camp check. If you're camping out in the wilds, you make a roll, and then you see how well your camp is. And that's basically the game. And then in between there may be like some checks and some things, and you'll get to town and you'll do some stuff. But that's basically the game. Now that sounds really boring at face value, but
Have you played Stardew Valley
I have
or
played
Animal
Stardew Valley.
Crossing? I mean, good God, man.
I have played Stardew Valley. Now, where this game shines is that every time you make one of these rolls, whether you do well or do poorly or whatever, the game is really about these little vignettes where, you wake up in the morning and you roll your condition check. I rolled pretty well. Great. Let's talk about, give me a short little vignette, role play scene on why you feel well, Oh, and you just crushed your roll and you're feeling great for the day. Why? Like, did you do something in the morning that really just got a pep in your step? Was there something from last night that happened that you just reminded you? Did you make breakfast in a certain way for everybody and it was just really cool and it just got you going? Or you just feel like crap in the morning because you rolled a 2. Cool. Why? Like, what happened? What's going on? And then the same thing goes for travel, and the same thing goes for direction, and the same thing goes for camp. So it's just these little vignettes of wholesome, good, feel good, slice of life anime episode that you're watching as you're going through it, and that's the game. And then as we play, we will draw on this map, and they'll have little towns, and we're going from one place to the next. And for the most part, the game is about you're going from one town to another town. Why? I don't know. We'll talk about that. What town are we going to? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Why are we going to this town and what's in it? Wait, this is the theme. I don't know. We'll talk about it and we'll figure those things out. But let's start first and foremost with our characters. So right off the bat, so you guys have your character sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have stuff. I figured it would be easier to do it on character sheets, like on actual character sheets and stuff, rather than trying to do it in Roll20, because the feel of this game is in the vignettes and in the story. It's not about the rolls. It's not about the like. I feel like doing it all in Roll20, it would focus too much on the technical aspects of it. Where
Wrong things.
right, it's the wrong focus. So we'll capture things here so that we can see it and we can do it together. But that's not the role focus. Okay, so let me come back over to the rules here. So you guys have your character sheets. Number one, you have to choose your class. And there's a number of classes that you can pick from. The recommended ones, and I realize now that I didn't also give you the list of classes that you can look through, but that's okay because you can choose one, and then I can tell you what things you need to write down. So easy peasy. The recommended classes for new players, not to say you have to choose one of these, is the minstrel, the merchant, the healer, and the hunter. And classes recommended for players with at least a little bit of experience playing the game, but I would say feel free to go for it anyway, are the artisan, the farmer, and the noble class.
I am between a hunter and a farmer.
Would you like me to tell you a little bit about the hunter and the farmer?
Sure.
Cool. So a hunter, these are like your hunters, your trapper, your monster chaser, your fishermen, your whatever, and they start with 3 skills. Each class starts with 3 skills, 3 special things you can do. And the hunter can do animal tracking, which lets you track different kinds of monsters by following their prints and stuff, and it gives you a bonus against rolling for them. So just handy little thing. You can track monsters if you need to. You can also trap, which lets you collect useful materials from monsters after you defeat them. So if you think you're going to be defeating monsters a lot going after them, it lets you collect some useful stuff from them. And then finally, hunting. You're able to basically have a special rule that lets you hunt for food every day on your journey. You can do it otherwise, but normally it slows you down. But since you're the cool hunter, then you don't have to worry about that. You basically get to cheat a little bit. So that's the hunter. And you were also curious about the farmer, I think. So the farmer, these are your farmers, your breeders, your milkmaids, your planters, etc. Their 3 skills are robust, which you're just a little hardier, and you get a bonus to your condition checks every morning when you wake up, and you also get a bonus to your carrying capacity because you're a little stronger, a little stouter. You're also an animal owner. So with this skill, normally players can only take 1 animal companion with them and not have to worry about giving them extra food and water. But if you take more than 1, then you have to feed them. But the farmer can take up to 3 animals in total without paying extra for their food and water. And then finally, the farmer has a side job. So since the farmer has to earn money in the off season, you can take 1 skill from any other class.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm between the healer and the artisan.
So the healer, these are your doctor, your pharmacist, your alchemist, your herbalist. What they do is they have their skills are 1 is healing, so they can use healing herbs to help people to recover hit points either on the road or in combat. They also have a skill called first aid that lets them basically like temporarily treat a condition. So as you're playing the game and bad things happen to you, there's a little bit of like a mouse guard element in here where you can receive a condition. And conditions you can naturally recover from, but first aid lets you just not have to deal with it, which is nice. And then finally, herb gathering. There's a ton of herbs in this game that you can collect and stuff, and normally most characters can't just go and find them. You have to go and buy them, and they'll have like different special things they can do for like different special perks and cool things. But the healer, every morning before you travel, you can always roll to see if you collect some special herbs from wherever you're at. And then you also said the artisan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the artisan. These are your crafters, your shoemaker, your hat maker, your cook, etc. Your sewer, your repairer. Number one, you have trapping. So when you defeat monsters, you're able to harvest the valuable materials from them and then use those things to create stuff with. You also have crafting, so you can use the skill to make basically anything that's on the buy sheet on like the store sheet, and it lets you make even things that are handy and cute and beautiful and delicious. So you can do all the things you normally would do, and it lets you make materials for basically half the normal cost. For not half the normal cost based on your specialty. And then also repair. You can repair any damaged items if they've lost durability, for like a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
Those are the two. So Kendall, what'd you decide to go with?
I think I'm going to go with the farmer.
The farmer, okay.
I think the farmer is going to fit my mentality.
Okay. And is there, for your side job, is there a particular side job that you would like to draw from for your extra skill?
Yes, I would like to draw from the hunting.
And then Sarah, have you decided what class you're gonna go with?
I have. I'm gonna go with the artisan.
Okay. Okie dokes. So everybody's got their class and their things and stuff?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, next up. You get to choose your character's type. So there's 3 different types that you can choose from, and it doesn't matter what your class is. You can always choose any of these 3 types for your character, and they all have different kind of bonuses to them. The 3 types are an attack type, and this is a type of character that specializes in combat using weapons. There's a technical type. This is the type of character that will quickly assess a situation and find clever ways to solve problems. And the third type is a magic type, and this type of character will enable the use of various types of magic.
You do that, and I will do magic then.
All right, I'm gonna do technical, and Kendall's gonna do magic.
Okay, so for technical, you get 3 different effects. Okay, so for the technical type, you have 3 different abilities. So the class skill, the first one is called Accurate, and this gives you an extra +1 bonus when concentrating. And we'll talk about concentration later.
Cool.
And there's also Quick, and this is a +1 bonus to your initiative. And you also have Pocket, and this is your carrying capacity is increased by 3. Okay. And then Kendall, you're going with magic type?
Yes.
Magic. Yours are Will, and the effect here is that you get +4 mental points, MP. And you also get a spell book, and this will give you 2 incantation spells per level. These are not like Fireball and Magic Missile and Wall of Fire. They're like, all of you guys are playing like, in D&D sense, you're playing like 0 level
Or the NPCs.
villager NPCs, and so the spells are to match. Yeah.
Like men. Like I have like men.
Yeah, it's like I have a hole in my shoe. Can I fix that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can totally do that.
Right.
I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it with other kind of magic. Hard work magic.
Magic of my
The magic of actually practicing a skill, you lazy bastard.
That's right. And then, Kendall, your third one is you're a seasonal sorcerer, and you get to acquire seasonal magic. Okay, so next up is your starting ability scores. So you'll see that on the character sheet, you have the listing in the very top right for your strength, your dex, your intelligence, and your SPI, which is your spirit. Strength, that's your physical power, your stamina, your endurance. Your dex is your speed, nimbleness, lightness of foot. Your intelligence is your power of judgment, thought, and memory. And your spirit is your focus, your bravery, and your strength of conviction. You can choose between 3 different stat blocks. You can choose the average set, which is all 6s, so you put 6s in all of them. You can have a standard set, which is you get 2 6s, but 1 4 and 1 8. And you can also do a specialized set, which is 2 4s and 2 8s. And what the numbers mean are these are the die type that you're going to roll when you do something. So if you have a 6 in something, that means you'll pick up a d6 and you'll roll it. So if you have to do strength and dex, and your strength is a 4 and your dex is an 8, you'll pick up a d4 and you'll pick up a d8 and you'll roll. And higher is always better. And then if you're ever curious as to what things might come into play more often than other things, is that if you go back over to if I can find it, the journey rules, checking your condition in the morning is strength plus your spirit. Your travel checks are your strength plus your dex. Your direction check, and only one person has to make the direction check, is your int plus your int. And your camp check, and only one person has to make a camp check, is your dex plus your int. There's other skills that will come into play too. Sometimes you'll say, "Oh, I want to sneak into a thing," or "I want to, bonk somebody on the head," or "I want to intimidate this person." Those are like general skill checks, and there's a whole chart that's in the book where you can say, "I want to do thing," and I'll say, "Great, use your this stat plus your this stat." If it's in the book, we use that. If it's not, I just make it up, and then I don't tell you, and then you just roll it.
So it's the 4 6 6 8.
Okay.
Me too.
Cool. And what did you decide to put yours in?
You do 4 6 6 8.
No, I did 6 8 6 4.
Okay.
Yeah, those are just the numbers that you can put in, but you can assign them to whatever stats you want.
No, I did the order. I did 4 6 6 8.
Oh, gotcha. Just because you're lazy, or that's actually what you wanted?
It's actually what I wanted. It's not that I'm not lazy.
I like it.
Because I am.
I like it.
They also happen to fit my aesthetic.
I like it. And then Sarah, how about you?
The picture of the man that I drew.
You already drew a picture.
You're drawing pictures already. Nice. I like it.
Oh my.
I like it.
What do you think?
No.
No?
Oh, just shut down. I don't like your farmer.
Your farmer looks like ice cream hair.
He looks creepy.
I like it.
He's old.
Hey, farmers can be creepy.
He's bald? Okay.
Yes, he's supposed to look old.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be old when you're in your journey. Sometimes people wait until they're later in life. And if this is in true Japanese anime show style, older means you could be like 20. That's really old.
Right? Oh my god.
You're really old. Like you've seen the world. You know things that nobody else knows. Yeah. And then there's a span in between where you just go from 20 to 70. So.
Yeah, it's all the same at that point.
Yeah.
You're all so down.
Exactly. Yeah. The aging just kicks into gear. How about you, Sarah? What stats did you go with?
I did 6 8 6 4.
Cool. Next up, you get to choose your mastered weapon. So each character is skilled in the use of a particular weapon, and this is your mastered weapon. And you'll have this weapon with you. So this is like one of the only things that you get to start the game with for free, because it's assumed that when you're out in the field, you will have to defend yourself. It's not like everything's trying to attack you and it's brutal and vicious and horrible, but there be monsters, and so this is the one weapon that you trained with before you went on your journey or at some point in your life, and so you're competent with it. The weapon categories are you can have a light blade, a blade, a pole arm, an axe, a bow, or unarmed. And then
What's the bow?
The bow uses int plus dex, but it's -2 accuracy, and the damage is dex. You can fire from long range. It lets you fire from the back. Here, let me show you something real quick. If I switch to this, can you guys see the screen change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the battlefield map. It's very like Final Fantasy-esque. So when you go to fight something, it's actually really nifty. You decide if you want to be in the front area or if you want to be in the back area. And if you're a melee guy, you'll be probably in the front. And then if you're a ranged or caster, you'll probably be in the back area. And unless there's something special, normally enemies have to fight through the front guys before they can get to the back. So you can stay in the back and be safe. The cool thing about this that I really like is that whenever you start combat, you everybody says 5 objects that are probably found in the vicinity of where you're having this fight, and then you can use those objects once per the battle as a plus to your ability. So which is nifty. It's just a nice, cool way to put things in there and then use the environment to get bonuses. I thought it was cool.
I think I'm gonna go with the pole arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will go with the bow.
We both have two-handed weapons.
I like it.
Never have to hold something else.
That's details.
Detail. Ah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up, you get to determine your personal item. So you're going to choose, for your character, a small item that they would have an emotional bond with. It's something the character would have on them at all times. And it's just to add flavor and background to your character. It should have no mechanical effects. It shouldn't be something where it's like, oh, yes, my personal item is this closed directional lantern. It's from my mother, who she really had an attachment to this lantern. It's a very fine lantern that really lights up the way. Like, it's not supposed to be like that. Yeah. It's a sentimental item of limited value. So do you guys have a thought on your background item, your personal item?
Mine's an earring.
Like
a long dangly earring with some sort of a crystal at the end that I got from my grandmother.
Oh. Does it have any cool backstory?
But I was raised by my grandmother, and when I was little, I used to play with this earring all the time. So when I got old enough to leave the house, she gave it to me as like a farewell gift.
Awesome.
And then she passed away not long after that.
Oh, sadness. Okay.
That is actually what prompted me to go on my journey.
Oh, is it? That's perfect.
Yeah.
Doing it for the memory of Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Of Grammy. Okay, Kendall, how about you?
I have a tartan cloak
Hmm.
that is well worn but well cared for. And I got it as a younger man. I was rambunctious. I was running around with the youth like you do. And one of the things that I still have from those days is this cloak.
Mm.
As I settled down more and focused on the farm and on tending the animals, I still had this to remind me that I do have some fire in me, and maybe that'll help motivate me to go on my journey and not die.
Cool. Yeah. So is this something you've had for a while, or that was given to you?
Yeah, since I was a young man.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
For since I was 17, and now that I'm 20 and an old man,
yeah.
a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, long time. Had a long time. Okay. Who gave it to you, by the way?
My father gave it to me on my naming day.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So this is more like a mark of. Is this like a family colors kind of a thing?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
It's a family tartan.
The other interesting twist here is that while this is a this is meant to be like medieval fantasy-esque type thing. So it has like these weird combination roots of like European medieval and and Japanese medieval fantasy, kind of a combo. So it's cool if you mix and mash those things all together. So that's cool. Yeah. So this is more like it's more of a signifier of, your place and your connection with your family, and it might be like known, but it's not something that you would be like, oh, it's cold, I'm gonna draw this around me because it's gonna keep me warm. Like, no, it's like a thin piece of thing.
No.
It's nice. It's nice.
It's soft. Feels
Yeah,
soft, even though
absolutely.
it's old.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, no, it's not like there's no practical value for this in terms of game mechanics.
Yeah. But it would console you in times of, of sorrow and hardship. I like it. I like it. Cool. Okay. Let's see what's next. Next up, we have shop for items. So all characters start with 1,000 gold. You're going to consult the item list that I didn't give you, and you're going to use the money to buy and equip any items your character will need for the journey ahead. So if you want, what we can do is we can have shop buying be offline. So if you guys want, you can take this offline and then buy whatever you want. Because I know how exciting it is to go through and do shopping for your.
Just gonna write down 1,000 gold and call it good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and some things are more expensive, so you may want to pool some of the things, but that's up to you guys. And then Kendall, I'll send you a list of spells that you can look at, and then you can decide what kind of things you want to do.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll put that to the side for just a moment, and then let me come back over to the character section. Okay, so now your character details. So these are the last parts before we get into the world and town build, which will take us into the game, which will probably be our stopping point for tonight. But character details. So number 1, what is your character's name or alias?
My name is Oz.
It's OZ.
OZ.
Nice.
My name is Myeh.
Nyeh, like Nyeh.
Meh.
Myeh.
That's more meh.
Meow.
Oh, Myeh. Myeh.
Oh, okay.
I like it. Oh, and Sarah, have you decided for Myeh what kind of an artisan she's going to be? Because it can be, the categories are any of the categories that you see in the item shop. So you can make containers, you can make armor, you can make shoes, you can make cloaks, you can make food, you can do any of it.
Cool.
You don't have to decide now.
Yeah. No, I will think about that.
Chew on it. Okay.
Taxidermy.
So we have Oz the farmer, and Myeh the artisan. I like it. Okay. Age and gender.
Oh, yeah.
Myeh is 20 and female.
So you're almost dead.
A worldly traveler.
I'm
She's a spinster.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Never gonna get married.
Big time. At this day and age, yeah, absolutely.
She's raised an independent young woman.
That's
her,
right.
Her grandmother.
Don't need no man.
No. I take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am a 60-year-old male.
Okay.
So.
I like it.
Dirty old man. You got it.
Exactly. Dirty old man traveling around with a younger girl. Younger spinster.
Yep.
I like it. Okay, cool. Next up is your image color and outward appearance. Image color is like, you tend to have like a favorite color that you wear all the time, and you tend to fit it into your general theme of your look. And then also what appearance that you have. And of course, your hair color as well, we have to identify.
My image color is purple. My hair color is pink.
Nice.
My general appearance is colorful.
It's like all kinds of different patchy colors, but purple is the central theme.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. With like gaudy style type clothes, things that really stand out.
No.
More just the colors that stand out versus the
style.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking her clothes would be kind of almost patchwork, but in a beautiful way.
Hmm. Dig it.
Not like someone just was like, "Oh, I have all these remnants. I'm gonna make something out of it. I don't care
Hmm.
what it looks like." It was someone methodically putting it together. And
Yeah. You can definitely tell the craftsmanship.
yes.
Yeah. And then depending on whatever Mia's focus is, then one thing is probably more standout than another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. How about Oz?
Oz, so he's got his kind of blue and yellow tartan cloak that he wears, and so his colors that he generally wears go with that. So like a yellow shirt and blue pants.
Mm.
Generally, that's what he has, and then he also has a shock of light blue hair.
Mm.
But he's old, so he doesn't have a whole lot of hair left. He's just got like this little kind of like a swoopty on the top, and that's about it.
A
Ice
swoopty.
cream swirl. It's an ice cream swirl.
I
It's not
like
an
it.
ice cream swirl. It's a swoopty.
And then for Mia, what style hair does Mia have, by the way?
Oh, she has Spider Gwen hair.
Oh, okay. Dig it.
So it's the shorter on one side, and then it slowly gets down to being longer on the
Hmm.
other side.
Yeah, dig it. Very cool. Okie dokes. Let's see here. Your hometown and your reason for journeying. So, as a group, um, because journeying can be dangerous and because it can be easier to pool resources together, a lot of times what ends up happening is that while you don't set off on a journey together, journey travelers, you'll recognize each other, and if you're traveling alone, you might meet people and say, "Hey, let's travel together. Let's do this thing as a group." And so we're at that point where you've already met each other and have decided to go on as a group. But how well you know each other, that's up in the air. We don't have to define that. But we've already established that you have like just recently met each other, and whatever town you're setting out from is where you connected up. It doesn't mean you have to be part of the same town or knew each other from before. So where you came from, your hometown, and your reason for traveling doesn't have to be connected at all.
Okay.
Okay. So what is your hometown? And I think we already covered at least I know with we covered Mia's reason for traveling, and I don't know if we covered Oz's reason for traveling.
Yep. Mia's hometown is called Hartfjord.
Hartfjord. And what kind of a town is Hartfjord?
It is a seaside little village.
Hmm. Hartfjord.
And they're well known for their candles and wool.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. And Oz, how about you?
I am from Pallet Town, and Pallet Town is known for so it's a farming community and raises livestock
Hmm.
and amongst other vegetable growing and whatnot. And so we then ship that stuff out, and so we're known for exporting a lot of the farming staples that people are used to eating across the country.
Very
Okay.
agricultural.
Yeah, so it's a town, so like it's not massive, but it's like an agricultural hub for what it is.
Hmm.
And I am traveling because I have always wanted to see more animals and to be the best farmer that I can be. Not the best farmer, but the best kind of like animal husbander.
Mm.
I want to understand how animals work together, not just in the husbandry area, but in nature, so that I can maybe bring that back and do better at raising the animals that I raise, which are sheep and goats, and I have some cows. Basically the milk and cheese producing ones, but then we've also got some sheep for the wool, because
I
wool
like
is
it.
very useful. Most of my clothes are actually all of my clothes are made out of wool.
Nice. I dig it. Okay. Cool. And then are there any, let's see here. Oh, did you, yeah,
Oops, sorry.
does Oz have a, what is Oz's onus? What was the drive to push him into journeying, going on his journey? And this is late. 60 is late.
Yes,
I mean,
60 is.
you could be dead already. So why'd you wait so long?
So why did I wait so long?
Hmm.
Well, so I mean, things just kind of catch up with you. Like, you get young, you run around with the wrong crowd, maybe you
Hmm.
get a girl pregnant, maybe you have all sorts of things going on, and you just kind of you keep going through the things that are put in front of you all the time and resolving those things and building on those, but you never really get to look at like the big picture and what your life is and what you wanted it to be, because it's gone now, right? Now you're a family person, you've got responsibilities, and then as you get older and older, those responsibilities tend to wane a little bit more,
Hmm.
because you have family that starts picking up some of the business, or taking care of some of the things that you took care of before. And so it got to the point where I actually have the time now. My wife predeceased me.
Predeceased.
So yeah, she died before me.
Uh-huh.
Jesus.
Sure.
Predeceased is alive. Um, but she died 10 years ago, and so part of it is to help me through that process still, because I'm still not quite through it.
Okay. And you said that was your wife, your mother? Who was it?
My wife,
Your wife. Okay.
my mother. No, yeah, my wife. My wife died 10 years ago. So um,
Okay. So your wife died 10 years ago, and is this like the anniversary of the death, and so now it's just hitting you hard, and you decided, you know what? It's time to expand my horizons. Or is it
it's
something
that,
different?
and it's also my children and my grandchildren are also pushing me,
Oh,
and they've
nice.
probably been pushing me for the last several years, and I've been resisting. But
Hmm.
at a certain point, between the anniversary of my wife's death and just the constant, you know, they talk a lot. They're young and they talk a lot and they don't shut up. So maybe it's nice. It would be good for me to leave so that I can experience things that I wanted to experience, and also hear voices that are not the kids that have been talking to me for the last 35 years.
Hmm.
So
I like it. Yeah. And you wanted to see new things and people and meet new animals. And then yeah, we mentioned that your grandmother died and that you're undertaking this trip in her memory. Was there something specific? Is there something targeted, tangible you want to do? Like, is this like a leave her ashes in the place of the yada yada, do the thing that she always wanted to do, relive her journey? Like, what is the?
Um, I think it's twofold. One, she wants to see new things and be able to expand her idea of what beautiful means.
Hmm.
And then also, there's one destination that she really wants to go to that her grandmother used to always talk about. And so that's kind of the general direction she's headed.
Okay. Okay. So she really wants to see one special place. What's the name? We don't have to identify it. What's the name of that special place?
Um, Crystallis.
Crystallis. And is that, are we going to call that like a town of some kind? Some kind of, it's a destination location.
Yeah, it's a larger city,
I like it.
and it has a lot of, I don't know, cultural
Hmm.
stuff
I like
that
it.
is unique to it.
I like it. Yeah. Let's not define it right now, but we know that it sounds awesome and it's going to be cool. Very cool. And then I realize now that I haven't flipped over to show you this, but that should have changed your screen over to the world creation. And if you look on the right, if you scroll to the right, I'm capturing a little bit of notes here on our hometowns, our reason for traveling. And then this is already starting in all Apocalypse World style. This is already starting to stack up our kind of things that'll be ahead of us. Okay, what is next? The last piece is personality and other details. This may not be something that you know now. This can be fleshed out as you play. But are there any like standout aspects of Myeh and Oz that are jumping to the forefront of your mind right now as far as their personality?
I'm gonna say Myeh is very curious.
Hmm. And how about Oz?
I'm also curious and a little bit cantankerous,
Hmm.
depending on what the discussion is. I might get crotchety about it,
Gotcha.
but because I may not have gone on this big journey before like everybody does when they're in their 20s,
Hmm.
but I've been around the block and I know things, and you guys are talking about stuff, and you're young and you just don't know.
Hmm.
And so I get grouchy sometimes, but
Hmm.
I'm also really curious because this is a big trip for me as well. And yeah, I mean, like my strength is 4. I'm physically like I'm not a
You're
imposing or
not long for this
strong.
world. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I want to. Yeah, no, you're not long for this world. Neither is she. She's 20.
Yeah,
One of the
you're both
things
way on in age. Exactly.
great.
Hmm. I hear you.
We live on a borrowed time.
Hmm. Yep,
Um,
I get it.
but yeah, so Oz is also very, very curious about things, and he wants to see things and experience things as well.
I like it. I like it. Okay. The last part is there's a short world creation sheet and same thing with town creation sheet. I figure we can do for tonight, and we'll cut it short because my eyes are starting to close, and I know that you guys are getting tired too because it's almost 10 o'clock. Is what we'll do is let's just come up with our world name and the first town we're gonna go to, and then we'll chew on it a bit, and then when we get together next time, then we'll fill out the last little bit of world creation. We'll talk about the town that we're going to and why we care about it, and then we'll set off on our journey for our next session.
Okay.
Yeah. So for this one, what is our world
Cool.
name?
Right. I don't know.
Wow.
Brian, it is. And then what is the name of the town we're going to be going to?
Crystal Bay.
Crystals, Crystal
I
Bay,
know.
crystal hats, crystals.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear who's leading this journey. Can we go to the Crystal Place? I think I really want to go to Crystal Place.
Yes. All the crystals,
Yeah.
please. They are beautiful.
The thing that
Exactly.
I want to do at the end of the journey, let's start there too.
I like it. Yeah.
And maybe we'll also end there, and
We're
then maybe we'll make a leave too.
we're
So
going
I will.
there. Yeah. See, Mia has a very clear understanding and a path in her mind of where she wants to go, and Oz is just cantankerous and just wants to go and do new things and meet new people. And
Yep.
so Mia's like, "Great, cool. So we're gonna do this," and then you're gonna be either crotchety, whether you want to know where you're going or whether you're choosing where we're going. So we're just gonna go where I want to go. I like it.
Yep. So Crystal Bay it is.
Crystal Bay. Cool. Cool, guys. Well, thanks for the first game. This was a nice, easy, chill, fun, and then next time we'll actually get things going and start our first session. Well, you guys get some rest, and then I'll catch you guys on later.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
night, guys.
I
Take care.